defense, and it actually ended up being 7 of the last 8 rounds on Chalet, defenders won. So heading now over to Theme Park, which is a map that historically and statistically is defender sided. I do wonder if that theme will actually continue on Theme Park.
Historically, but not in recent history. And by recent history, I mean the last time we saw Theme Park, which feels like only 2 hours ago now. But the stats from both the Brazil National League and, of course, NAL definitely back that. In the Brazil League, it is a 65% defender-sided map. Lab and Storage is actually the most successful that they have, but very versatile in terms of the maps, in terms of the sites that are used. Obviously, Bunk and Armory are probably the most for Brazil, whereas when we look at NAL, Initiation is absolutely awful, all the way down at 20%. Regardless, though, it is a 58% win rate across 5 maps. Get this, 84% win rate on Armory and Throne. That is massive.
Yeah, and I think that was the stat I brought up actually in the last match that we had here on Theme Park. When obviously we were looking at SSG at Dem 1 Gaming, and Throne Armory actually got basically opened up by, I think, both teams even. So it wasn't quite the 84% that it's highlighted in the NAL. So we'll see if that obviously translates into this match as well, or if we go back to a bit of normality, which I'm probably sensing a little bit of normality, if I'm going to be honest, Rob. I think TSM on the defense first. They showed that they've got what it takes to defend on Chalet. If they can do it on Chalet, they should be able to do it comfortably here on Theme Park as well. Good opportunity for them to, once again, like Chalet, get out to a good start in this first half.
You say go back to a bit of normality, but look at the lineup for TSM right now. This is anything but normal on an Armory defense. I mean, obviously, you know, you're going to extend, you're going to try and take fights. The Mozzie, I feel like, I mean, I'm an APAC caster, obviously. I haven't seen Mozzie in like 12 months. We've got the Vigil on Bolo. That is dangerous. You've obviously got Geo, who's going to be able to get a lot of intel. But the big thing for me right now is there's no wall denial. So pretty much MIBR are going to have free reign on the exterior walls, but that is absolutely ridiculous from Bolo. Within the first 20 seconds, he's out of the building trying to take a gunfight.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. On a map that already favors, I think, defenders that are aggressive inside the building, don't know if you need to be outside the building. So I will put it down to this round almost being like, you know, when an attacking team comes in the opening round, Rob, and they bring out like a rush chat. Yeah. This is almost like the defender's way of doing it. So it's probably going to be a one and done for TSM. Not counting them out for the round, of course. We have lost the Vigil, but it is an intriguing strategy that's so far not paying off.
No, and I'm really keen to see how TSM decide to hold this, because obviously without really defending the exterior walls of Throne, it becomes almost like a hellhole on the actual site itself. So very much it's going to have to be the aggressive play style. A lot of good drone work from MIBR here have set them up, but look at the drone economy. There's only 3 drones left. Oh no, this is not good. They are going to be in a deficit of intel when we get down to the later parts of this round.
Well, Geo makes the runaway from Port Yellow Stairs through toilets, and in the end, it's actually all evened up now at 3 versus 3, but Geo low on health, and Lucan very feeling as if he had a kill and almost like prey getting away from the Hungry Lion, but minute 15 time. It's still here available for TSM to just try and bring this round back, and they've continued to do so. Geo probably should have died at Yellow Stairs, goes on, finds a kill, finally does die to Lucan, who I think was chasing him down that whole way. 2 versus 2, but time will start to become a factor for the 2 on MIBR, and suddenly Merc and Snake find themselves in a position where they can win this round. A bit of a wacky and weird round to start things off. They can do it, and Redup goes all the way back and will get the hack and get those cameras.
Well, that's just it. I was going to say, they're going to have really important intel for TSM. They've got the Yokais, and they also have the Black Eyes on Geometrics. But of course, now they can see everything. Now MIBR can see literally every piece of information, so that all becomes null and void and actually works against them. As you saw Snake shoot one out, it's now 20 seconds left, and MIBR don't have a clean way into the site.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. You go and get the intel. That's all good, but you've got to get on site. We're heading down to the final 10 seconds. Well, talk about swinging on in, fighting that kill onto Snake. They did have somewhat of an idea as to where he was located. Reduck going for the plant. Merc, well, they're not your friendly drones anymore. They have been hacked, and they're too late. Reduck does get the plant down. So for Merc now, in a 1 versus 2, post-plant, looking for the retake. Lucan and Reduck both half health. It's somewhat winnable. Oh, and makes it very winnable. There's no need for Reduck to be swinging and peeking that early. So much time. Merc, does he fake? He does. He gets off of it here inside of Armory, but he's expecting Lucan to make the push. Oh, they're gonna swing each other. Who's gonna win it? It's Lucan.
Wow. That is an insanely close round. I thought absolutely no chance MIBR make it on site, completely dismissing the fact that they have a smoke. They cut off Split, they forced the fight with Snake, and after that, they played that 1v2 really well, not perfectly, obviously. We don't need to see that player first swinging onto the position of whoever it was trying to clutch them, but regardless, that was a really, really strange round. I mean, from start to finish, kind of felt a little bit, how you going? And I thought the fact that MIBR lost so much of their intel in the early portion of that round, I thought, oh yeah, this is it. They're not going to know where any of the TSM players are. And then, of course, you know, the Dockerby. Just Dockerby things.
Yeah.
And that really, for me, I think turns the tide. All of a sudden, all of TSM's intel becomes null and void, and it just becomes a double agent, essentially. So
not bad, though, for a 4v5, really, when you think about it, because
fantastic.
Run out at the start.
Was it Achieved or Geo? It was Geo that went mental. Oh, no, it was Achieved. Achieved found the double kill of, like, little HP, right?
Yeah. But in the end, it was shut down. And it was Merc and Lucan in that 1v1 at the end.
That's not Bolo again, is it? No, that's Snake. Jeez, TSM are very aggressive in the opening portions of these rounds. I'm not mad at it at all. I love it. It just doesn't seem... it definitely didn't pay off in that last round.
There's aggression that's maybe chaotic, and then there's aggression that's controlled. I think they've got to probably just reel it in a little bit. That last round was obviously a bit chaotic to start with, and then they kind of reeled it in and obviously saw the results of that. So controlled aggression, that's fine. Make it difficult for MIBR to get into the building. Make it difficult. That's exactly what defenders generally do on this site, and that's why they find success generally on this map, I should say. So you don't really want to be giving MIBR another round from here on out. On a rather defender-sided map, you can't afford them to get that second round too early on. Maybe if it's at the end of the half, that's fine, whatever. But very important now for TSM to dig deep, to not throw lives away, and have a solid defense. And Merc just gets a little antsy on the smoke. Has thrown out one gas babe and almost lost his life. Throws out a second there, but I mean, that's a mini win there for MIBR.
You take the mini wins as well. You take the micros. On a map like Theme Park, you kind of need to. It can be really, really chaotic to attack. Incredibly hard to control as well. With Merc going so low, this is a fight that needs to go the way of TSM.
They don't know Lucan's top, never mind. Snake, actually they trade each other.
Oh, what?
1 for 1, double headshot. So 4 versus 4. I mean, look, I actually kind of feel like that's maybe a win for TSM because Lucan on the Nook, and he's 3-1, and he's been probably the best player for MIBR in this series so far, so at least you don't have to deal with the Nook running around. They do lose. Bolo to Polypox, jumping into control, finding that kill. And 50 seconds left in the round, and MIBR up a player in the opening 2 rounds. If they go 2-0 up, I mean, it's the perfect dream start here on this map. And it's the smoke that goes out, and the gas babe as well from Merc after Achieve found the kill. 3 versus 3, 40 seconds.
There's one on site. Geo needs to be super cautious not to give Philippox a free kill here. He's hunting around an initiation, trying to find something, but it is Achieved from the side. So sneaky. Falls goes 2, and Raps is the only one left alive. Can't get anything done. Merc goes massive for the final 2 kills. Very, very impressive from TSM.
But just that moment, Rob, bringing it back to where things slowed down, almost like time standing still. Who did that favor in the end? TSM, right? When things are a little bit chaotic and all over the place, I feel like that's playing a little bit into MIBR. They're okay with that. You look at Lucan on the Nook, he's making moves, they're dropping control, they're finding kills. And then when things slow down and it comes down to crunch time and it comes down to executing on site, 3v3, TSM's just the better team. And when the time becomes a factor, it should play into them, and that's exactly what we just saw in that last round, and that's what we saw as well on Chalet when it was fast and it was frenetic and it was chaotic. Like the second half of that first half, MIBR benefited when things were a little bit slower and measured. TSM and their methodical play style rose to the top. It's almost like class just rises to the top, and that's really what is the case, I think, for TSM and what's going to win them this map of Theme Park. But they've got to play it more controlled and less Bolo, you know, running out on Vigil. Let's not do that one again.
5 seconds.
I do really like this operator lineup, and again, you know, you talk about what it does and what it doesn't do. What are you doing, Bolo?
Not again. Don't. It'll probably work this time, though, in fairness, if he does go for another cheeky play on the Vigil, but you just, yeah, they've already got one round. I feel like you can always do one. You can always get away with it once. Yeah. And then if they get something from it, if they get a round win, I don't know if you can do it again on a defender side of bat. You need to bank these rounds. Yeah, 100%. Especially on a site like Armory and Throne. Like 80% win rate in NAL. This is the site you absolutely do not want to be losing. This is the one that you put in the back pocket, and it's 100% every time. Like a basement defense used to be for Oregon. You know, you think about how successful that used to be for every team. Snake, if he hits this shot, he might be one of the sharpest gamers, but he pulls off. Philippox doesn't swing either. There we go, Bolo. Yeah, but that's more measured, right? That's just around drag and stairs. Where is this? They're making it difficult to push into sight. Oh, so yeah, TSM. Wow, 2 minutes left, and it's a 3 versus 1. Merc goes up 4-1, and suddenly with a bit of help as well from Bolo, it's all pretty easy in the end for TSM in this third round. We didn't even really get to capture the majority of it. I don't even think that was a rush by MIBR. That was just aggressive positioning by TSM, but again, in a controlled manner. It's so much different when you're holding Gong, when you're holding Dragon Stairs versus vaulting out a window. But that's the difference in the end for so far this entire map. When TSM play to their strengths, they are just not beatable. MIBR can't beat them. But if TSM makes some mistakes, MIBR is good enough that they will capitalize. That's probably been the story of this series. I am really a big fan of that.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
this could really be done in two with the way that we're seeing TSM play. Again, I really want to be careful to tamper expectations. Obviously, such a heavily defender-sided map like this, definitely a tale of two halves. We do know that NAL have very good attacks, though, so that's I don't know whether that's going to be the issue per se. It's probably more so what MIBR bring for the rest of this half and then into the second half. But the control is well and truly in TSM's hands. The only caveat to the entire conversation that we're having right now is Initiation is one of the worst sites, I think, if I remember correctly. I'll just go back and have a look. Theme Park, yeah, Initiation, 20% success rate on 10 attempts. So they're only 10 attempts, only 2 rounds have been won there. And this is quite a large sample size as well. So what do TSM bring to this site that other teams do not, and how are they going to combat what MIBR bring, which, to be honest, seems to be quite aggressive here on Theme Park attack.
Well, they've got info denial with the mute jammers, and then you've also got the pog mats as well from Merc. I always have to say, when you bring in that frost out, you've got something up your sleeve, and we'll see what Merc has up his sleeve for those frost mats and whether or not that does have an impact in this round. So yeah, it's an intriguing option to obviously head to Office Initiation if it is, what, 20% like you said, but 2-1 up. Maybe you bring out something different. MIBR, are they going to be prepared for this? We saw them, I think, go for a 5-man attacker repick as they actually got on the Candelas as well of the Ying for Philippox in that attacker repick too. So clearly they have got an idea as to how they want to attack this. And it's probably the execution that we need to really see come full out
Falls needs to be careful not to lose his life here. The hard breach up. If he goes down, I mean, it's not do or die, but it does cut down a lot of the avenues into the side. It does make life a little more difficult. How much longer are TSM going to stay this extended for? Obviously, in bunk, that's a massive pick from Merc, and Geometrics decides, you know what, I'm sick of this. Play it down. TSM are up, 2-man advantage.
Yeah, and again, it's just clean and precise, and MIBR can't even just find a way into the building. You saw there with Philippox, even just dropping down. It was like dropping down into a pit, into a void. Raps, well, I mean, that's one way to find a kill. You just keep spraying until you get around the corner, but traded by Merc, who's now 7-1 anyway. And why not finish it off 8-1? Merc, settle down, leave some for the rest of them. It's all TSM here on Theme Park, though. Early days, they're on the defense. We will need to see that second half, but it's good signs.
Merc is an absolute menace. Like, how do you even stop someone like that? You know, 8-1 in the first 4 rounds, absolutely taking the mick.
Obviously, we saw Dem1 Kia and SSG earlier on the stream. It was not a defender-sided Theme Park, even though the map itself is inherently defender-sided. That game wasn't. But this game, so far in the first half, favoring the defenders in TSM. So we've got that kind of to go off of here. And they're actually going to be employing the same kind of setup. They'll go with the Frost again. They'll keep the Mute Jammer, the Alibi, etc. So it's the same setup as well for TSM, despite the shift over towards Bunk Daycare. So, yeah, very intriguing.
I feel like, you know, consistency breeds success. We see it so often when we're talking about, you know, rosters domestically, internationally. Rosters that stick together generally have a better successful rate, unless, of course, the roster's absolute dog water, in which case it's a little bit different. But, and I feel like, especially for operator lineups, knowing what you have, what your teammates have, what you can play around is just as important. And when we're talking about consistencies of rosters, I mean, TSM bringing in Snake, I think Snake has done a really solid job over the last 2 maps. Hasn't been overly flashy, hasn't been the best player for TSM, but is definitely showcasing, like, what's the right way of putting this? Just the consistency in the performance, which TSM definitely need, especially when you've got players like Merc and like Achieve that are popping off.
7 of the last 9 rounds in favor of TSM over the back of the 2 maps, the end of Chalet and the start here on Theme Park. So it's been rather one-sided. And if TSM do end up winning this series 2-0 and win it convincingly, it's further bad news for MIBR and what's been a couple of rough months. It just gets sort of pushed to the side, if you will. Now, Montang is going to be brought out by Reduck. How do you play off of this and playing this well inside of Initiation? It's 2 kills, though, of Philippox over in Break Room.
Oh, Philippox!
But Falls finds the kill onto Snake, and TSM have just wilted. And lo and behold, similar to Chalet, off the back of the timeout for MIBR, they come out the other side looking like a rejuvenated team.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Not a team you want to allow back into this game. Achieved. He wins these. I don't think he does, though. Let's be completely honest. A 1 versus 5. Finds the first kill. That's Philippox as well. Can he deny the plan? I don't think he's in a position to do so. I thought that shot was going to connect. This is a very difficult position to play from. Get shut down by Lucan. MIBR. They are back in this game. They are not interested in mucking about with what has been a pretty impressive TSM roster.
Yeah, and now that they've got that second attacking round win as well, that relieves so much pressure going into this final round. They don't have to now get 3-3. I think 4-2 is good enough. When we look at, obviously, Theme Park in a nutshell, we've spoken about it at length. I think 4-2 is par for the course for both teams. If it does go to 3-3, though, MIBR will actually be in a very good position going into the second half, provided their defense can, of course, stand up to the attacking prowess of TSM. So which, you know, they did go 3-3 on Chalet on their defense. If they could do it there, I think they could do it here as well. Big round to be won here. It kind of feels like the winner of this round might end up actually being the winner of the entire match. I know that's a little bit silly to say, Rob, but TSM got up to 4-2, put a very early break into that MIBR momentum off the back of the timeout, go into the second half, good on the attack, or 3-3 half for MIBR, and suddenly the pressure's on TSM.
5 seconds left before insertion.
You come down to moments like that, my friend. Truly can.
Yeah.
Attackers are heading out to defuse
You
the
know,
bomb.
when you talk about the lead in the first half and the second half, it is so vitally important when you have the opportunity to close these games out. And right now, anything but a 4-2 half for TSM would be unsuccessful. Snake! Oh my god! All I heard was the one tap. Doot. Dead. Man advantage, and that's a Yana off the board for MIBR.
Yeah, and probably what TSM needed as well off the back of that 5th round where it was essentially almost flawless by MIBR. So a good way for them to start, get that early kill, and deals with the Yana as well. No Gemini play from Raps, and no K round as well in that 5th round. It feels like though MIBR, Rob, a lot of it is falling on the shoulders of Lucan. And Bolo finds a kill onto Redux. So yeah, and Blips as well on the swing in as well. Okay, they're all just dead.
God!
2 minutes to go, and TSM are just ready to move on into the second half. Ball in Cafe droned out. Can't even win that fight against Snake, who's just too solid for a flawless round. And it's a 4-2 half in the end for TSM here on Theme Park.
Indicative of how they have been performing, and you know, you don't want to put the performance of one of a team on one player, but definitely Lucid has been stepping up for MIBR, and I think you take Lucid out of this scenario, I think TSM win Chalet a lot easier. I think that Theme Park, there's nowhere near as much I would say contention. So, and again, I am really cautious when I do talk about one player in particular, because Fleepox has been fantastic over the past 2 maps as well, but Lucid has just come up pretty big in some of the more important rounds. Then you look to the side of TSM, you know, if Merc goes down, you've got Achieved. If Achieved goes down, you've got Bolo. Bolo goes down, you've got Snake. And if Snake goes down, Geo just cleans up. So that's obviously nowhere near how it works. But it does feel like all the cylinders for a TSM are literally just gun-ho working together in this. It seems a little bit more broken for MIBR. Maybe we're just reading into that, but certainly this is a really solid start for TSM, with the fact that this is MIBR's map pick.
Yeah, I will say though, again, devil's advocate here, 4-2 half. Yeah, probably par for the course for both teams. MIBR did get their 2 attacking rounds. If this does play out to be as defender-sided as we generally expect Theme Park to be, then this one could actually have overtime written all over it. But what I will say is if TSM get this opening round, and if they do it very cleanly, I think at that point 5-2, you can't look past them. So big round. Snake sneaking on through on the Nog, straight into arcade entrance. Now Chief actually has died. Well, going for that he 1D. He's dead. And this is a little bit all too late now from Geo as well on the rappel in. Snake did find a kill on the Raps, but a good start here for MIBR on the defense. TSM's attack has just been taken apart. There is a player holding yellow stairs. Geo, though, walks on play. And Bolo, he's just gone for the plan on site here into last storage.
I don't think they're going to be able to deny it as well. Snake shuts down Fleepox, and down goes the kit. This is really dangerous territory for MIBR. They cannot afford to lose this round, and it's exactly what they're doing. They're falling in numbers. They are falling with time, and it is just a matter of time before TSM shut this out. Reduct, Lucid, all on their shoulders right now. Lucid has gone massive in a couple of rounds, but it's going to need to do one better. He can't do it. The long arm of the law sticks out for Reduct. Are they going to be able to deny this? Oh my word. But Snake was swinging. I thought Snake was on the stairs. I did not know he was in lab. I apologize to everyone at home for getting too excited for that, but TSM close out.
They had it covered the whole time. No worries in the end. There was just that brief moment. I heard the shots go out, and I was like, hang on a second, he's not dying. Have they got this one? But no, 5-2, TSM. It wasn't clean. I mean, MIBR, they got the first 2 kills of that round, if I'm correct. I know there was a trade back, so it was like 2 for 1, but MIBR were up 4-3, and then Bolo just walks into sight. Talk about game awareness from Bolo to understand sort of what's happening, that MIBR, the players on site are not really there, and that they're actually holding off of site. So yeah, site's just free. I don't know if he got drone intel or not, but really, really well played. Get that plant down, out the window, and from that point, you're just not really going to be allowing MIBR to get the retake. So up 5-2, straight away an attacking round win for what has been defender-sided, courtesy of TSM in that first half, up 4-2. And they get an attacking round to start the second half. It's good signs for them. 2 rounds away from closing out this series.
5 seconds left.
And that's it. At the bare minimum, 1 round before they can lock in
Attackers are heading out to
OT. And then when we go back and we have a look at what side TSM get to start, if we do go to OT, and it looks like they start attack, so it's not... okay, I thought they were starting on defense. I thought that would be ridiculous. It's not fantastic, but it's also not awful. So really, MIBR are in all sorts of trouble here. Driver's seat, both hands on the wheel for TSM, and they are gun-ho. I think they close this out. I don't know whether MIBR can bring this one back.
We've seen enough as well back on Chalet. You know, for those that sort of watched the SSG Dem1 gaming here, they know that even though Dem1 won Chalet, SSG showed enough and then started really well on Theme Park. So you could kind of see them not only just winning on Theme Park, but also bringing it back on Bank. I haven't seen enough to suggest that MIBR is the better of these 2 teams. That, for me, is TSM. And when they're up 5-2, and when Polo not only is running in sight in the last round and now finding the kill onto Lukid, who has been the star player for MIBR, it's falling apart for them. Kill by kill, they fall. Raps has not been able to have that much of an impressive performance. Reduct doing as much as he can. Did get that kill onto Bolo, who's just running around like it's a T-hunt here on Theme Park.
Legit.
Minute 40, 4 versus 3. TSM with the player advantage. Yellow's Daz control. Merc now in daycare on the drone. Good intel. They've still got 7 drones available. A lot of intel, a lot of time. It's all looking good for TSM.
I feel like as we left Bolo's point of view then, he was, you know, Bilbo Baggins going on an adventure style scene. He's just running off into the distance. Unfortunately, doesn't find much more, but it certainly gives TSM just such a strong foothold in this map. And so, I mean, really just in this round. And there we go, the very first time we're seeing the mirror in 8 rounds. And it's had, I don't want to say it's had no impact, but it doesn't seem to have really played into the defense of MIBR whatsoever. 3 players left. Reduct obviously finds Bolo a little bit earlier, so it gives them something, but I just... TSM are snowballing, and MIBR are hoping for a rock to break that momentum.
Yeah, and sometimes I'd look at this moment and think, has it stalled, has it slowed down? But I think this benefits TSM. The crunch time, this is where they execute perfectly. And Merc inside of barrels here finds the easy kill to Reduct. Obviously hiding out, looking for a late round flank. And now you got a 2-player advantage, 30 seconds left. You've got Vert, you've got Sight basically locked up as well. Merc now cracks double digits. Philippox wants to obviously try and make one last play. Did get the kill onto Achieved and wants to maybe ruin some KDs for some of the members of TSM, but that's probably all he may be able to do. I don't think he's going to be able to salvage this one for MIBR, so it will then be match point, series point for TSM on the other side of this round.
Philippox finds the first fight, yeah, Merc. A little bit aggressive there, and Philippox is now in split. He can do some serious damage to the player in barrel, so he can isolate this 1v1. If he wins that, it's on. But TSM are on. They're on match point and series point.
Yeah, and they've been the better team. There's just no contest. There's no way that I can play devil's advocate to say that MIBR deserved more from this. Back on Chalet, I thought they probably got what they deserved. What was that, 7-4? They had a very good period where after that timeout, they came out firing, and it looked like maybe we were going to have that kind of back and forth series that in some ways I almost expected, really. I expected a little bit more from MIBR, but I will also say that TSM has been very, very impressive. You obviously have touched on Snake. I think his addition has been great. Had some very, very critical moments on Chalet and has just continued to churn away here as well in Theme Park. They just look like a team that's firing on all cylinders. I don't see much more you could really say. Could they go to another level? Probably.
Yeah.
But I still think that I'm a little bit more disappointed in MIBR here on Theme Park. They didn't show much on the attack. The only round they the only round they actually won was that bunk daycare round in the 5th round. They did win the opening round, but it didn't help. Bolo threw his life away, and they were playing a pretty aggressive roam. So that aided MIBR a little bit. So really, I kind of look at this as this could have easily been a 7-1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, like literally, it probably should have been at this point for TSM. And I think the momentum, anything that MIBR had on Chalet after, you know, kind of breaking the momentum, it was really lost in that second half with TSM going under their defense. And same thing here as well. There were little tiny glimpses of opportunities to make their way back in here, but TSM have been so aggressive on this attack that they have not let MIBR settle once. And I think ultimately TSM's aggression, not only on Chalet but also on Theme Park, has ultimately caught MIBR either off guard or has just outplayed them altogether.
It's also important for TSM, the 2 maps that they've gone and won. I'm assuming they're going to go on and win Theme Park, but Chalet and Theme Park really adds to their map pool, and they look very good here. They've clearly put some work into it. They have not won it in the NAL Stage 1, Stage 2, so they've clearly gone away and put some work in because they've looked very impressive here. They would probably beat a fair amount of NAL teams on this map if they were to bring it out. So, minute 45, and what could be potentially the final round, although obviously for MIBR, they will fight tooth and nail to bring this one back. Luca gets that kill, gives them the advantage, but maybe only for the time being. Merc has been supreme in this series, probably the best player in the series, but doesn't find the kill there.
Merc, best player in the series, and he's just dropped onto the support role as well. How on earth? That's what the meta is at. That is what the meta is at, folks. Merc can just be an absolute gamer. Perfectly cooked nade from Snake, by the way. A little bit of information. You're going to try and drop through the gate? Surely not. Geometrics out on the arcade window. And with a minute left, this is looking a lot more likely for MIBR, but once again, there's no one on site for MIBR. No one's watching the choke points, fortunately. Falls finds a big one, and now it is brought back into a 2 versus 3, but site control is under TSM.
Geo and Achieve now, the last 2, and they got 3 to deal with. Still Nitrous on their hand as well for Reduct or the Mirror, and Diffuser down right next to Raps. One more gas babe available. Might even factor to Achieve trying to find a cheeky angle, but I don't think he's going to be able to achieve that one. And Geo now taken low as well. So I think this round maybe has fallen away from TSM. For their sake, if it's just the 1 round, and that's fine. Yeah, I mean, look, Raps just has to hold the door. He can be full wide and just pull the trigger. He knows that you got to rush in. I don't even, yeah, he actually hit very, very well. It wasn't even full white. He played that perfectly. And a much deserved win for MIBR. I know it's match point, I know it's series point, but that was probably the best round we've seen from them on Theme Park. And they've left it to the last second, and that's the only disappointing factor. Now, we do head to Armory Throne Room, Rob, for this next round. There is a chance 6-4 could be on the cards. If that does eventuate, could put some pressure on TSM.
The only problem with, yeah, it's hard. If MIBR win this round, they then have 2 rounds where they either have to go to lab and storage or they've got to go to initiation, in which case I don't back them to close it out in that sense. Yeah, that's going to be a really tough one if they are able to put, like, if they want to make the comeback here. Again, you're talking about 4 rounds straight, but you are talking about sites that I don't feel are the strongest for MIBR. We saw it in round 1 of the attack for TSM. But it could be done and dusted here. You never know. You just never know. With the way that TSM are playing at the moment, they are so quick. They are so rapid. They don't mess about. When they find an opening, they're in.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, on the flip side, I think for MIBR, much better round from them because they didn't shy away from the contest. A little bit more in the face of TSM. Shotguns, holding angles that were not necessarily just on site. And I think that that's probably something that they need to continue to do if they are to win this map of Theme Park and bring it back and send this one to overtime, even just that. They need to throw caution to the wind and be aggressive, get in the face of TSM. Try and find kills early as well. You can't just allow TSM to get map control, to then eventually get site control, and to flush your players out, especially with Bolo and the Jackal. Geometrics can get a lot of intel as well on the Dockerby, so... And that's probably what we've seen as well back on Chalet, was just map control, was just the strength of TSM. Their ability to get into site, to get map control, was the difference maker. And it has been the case on Theme Park, and it is something that MIBR needs to do better at shutting down. I mean, like, even drone economy, this is, like, there's still now only 5 drones available, but for a lot of these rounds, Rob, it's been like 7 or 8 available.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely something we noted on Chalet, and again, like not to put it on the region, but like NAL seem to be quite good with their drone economy and also their intel. This really is the first round I think I've noticed where the drone economy is kind of dwindled away. Oh, Bolo! Rip the head off of Reduct, why don't you? There is now only 4 players here. MIBR, are they going to get shut down? Lucan with a monstrous kill onto Merc. That wasn't far off, but
yeah,
not close enough at the same time.
Oh, he's going to give the iNox scanner and play into that if you can. Why not? But he has the intel, and Bolo's hunting down.
He's hungry.
You can also hear, of course, the sound calls as well from Geo on the call. And Luca does eventually get chased down in daycare. That's the power of the Jackal. Now, full display by Bolo. And talk about entry from Bolo there. The initial kill and then the follow-up as well onto Luca. He's enabled this round for TSM.
And the Dockerby is going to give so much information. Philippox deletes achieve. That is one of the quicker peaks we've seen so far. Geo unfortunately can't find an angle on this. So at the moment, Snake, does he cut him off? No, Philippox shuts down Bolo as well. We were singing the praises of Lucan, but Philippox has been equally as important, equally as effective on these kills. And now a 2 versus 3. Geo and Snake have it all to do.
Stressful times now, isn't it, for TSM? Snake does find the kill onto Philippox. He put the Mozzie on him at the final seconds here. 20 seconds to be exact left. 2 gas babes available for falls. Now, he can actually deny the entry into split for a little bit longer here. In fact, for almost the majority of this time. May force the drop down. Wraps inside a throne, though, of course, watching the better position. But yeah, Falls had that split on lock. He still had gas babes. He still had the shotgun. And MIBR still have hope.
It's a glimmer, but that's all it takes. A tiny sparkle of hope for MIBR here. It's a flame that is flickering, but a flame nonetheless.
Have to fight to win to beat you, and that's at least some kind of comfort there if you're an MIBR fan. If they do fall short, at least they didn't get done 7-2.
Attackers need to locate and defuse the bomb.
Unlike Falcons on Oregon against BDS in the first map. By the way, it's a nice little segue for us. BDS 2-0'd Falcons, so that does mean that BDS are through to the upper bracket and will face the winner of this matchup, meaning Falcons will play the loser. So at this point, if you were to just go on the trend, TSM will verse BDS, MIBR will be versing Falcons, just as a simple way to explain that. Alas, at this point, again, I am a big fan of when and where they've taken their time out. They didn't falter earlier in the first half when maybe they could have. They've taken it at the right time, and MIBR, they've had to sit and mold over the fact that they are 1 round away and they are not given any of the primary sites.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see now, because TSM is the team that need to make something happen, even though they've got match point, 2 of them as well, still banked. MIBR playing though with confidence in the last 2 rounds. They've been a lot better in just their general play. I don't necessarily think TSM's done a lot wrong either. It's not like they've suddenly started to get a little bit too overzealous and maybe putting a foot wrong. I think MIBR's just sort of come to the table and meeting them a little bit at the skill level department. And you gotta look at their lineup defensively, the Frost, the Echo, so they're all kind of trapped up and ready to go to cause a bit of havoc in this round. And that's just not what TSM needs. You know, TSM have done well to get onto site, but if you get on site and go for that plant and then that Yokai drone denies you, that could be a disaster. So curious to see how it plays out. I believe it's lab storage, it is. And it's a cheat though with a nade onto Raps. There goes the Frost. And there's the opening pick straight in. They check for the map. And it's going to be Merc getting this plant down. They're even utilizing that shield as if it's their own. Well, that's surely the map. That's surely the series. Terrible defense from MIBR off the back of that timeout from TSM. They've just come out and said, no close one this time around. We're not letting it go the distance. We're going to shut up shop. Job done. TSM take out MIBR 2-0 in this series, and rather uneventfully as well. They were by far and away the better team.
Well, you would have seen just before we kind of swapped off a Chiefs point of view, he did see the player on cam. They had a